All right, guys, welcome back to the International 4 American Qualifiers. We are jumping into our, I guess, tiebreaker games here, and we've had a lot of fun thus far, but we just got out of a ridiculous game. Of course, we are here with Kyle Guy, Cinderin, and Suns fan. Guys, Liquid, Cinderin, how do you feel about that game that just ended?
There's a pretty heated debate going on in pretty much the entire studio here about is this cool or not? Is it okay what Liquid did? Is it the fault of the format? Is it the fault of the team? Is it a little bit of both? We kind of have, I think the discussion right now is that we have Basekip on one side saying, well, if the format puts teams in a position like this, then the format is to blame, because Liquid can choose basically in that game to just throw it completely, just throw it out, just lose the game if they want a chance of not meeting SNA later on, for example, in the playoffs.
Right.
Others are like, it's unsportsmanlike behavior. You should always try to win the game, always do your best. Liquid can always argue, well, we knew we were through, we were just experimenting, but we weren't losing the game on purpose. I mean, it was a close game. It wasn't just that they went in and just fed 20 kills.
Right.
So, I mean, a little bit of both. I don't know. I'm actually not sure about... I can't really decide either stance on it. I can understand what people are saying, but I feel like I'm pretty neutral, to be honest.
Is there any question that they threw? Does everybody agree on that at least?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was a pretty close game, and it was up in the air, but there were multiple points, and I know there's a lot of talking about, like, all right, first of all, you don't really go Radiance on Tree and Protector. You don't go Radiance on, I think it was Mom as well. That's kind of throw-worthy to me.
It felt like a pub game.
Yeah,
and actually, for once, this is actually the correct usage of the term throw, right? Because that is losing the game on purpose, and that term is often used to just throw away a game. In esports, we kind of use it for that. But in other sports, throw refers to simply just, for whatever reason, like be it betting scandals or something like that, losing the game on purpose, right? So the most famous real throw we have in Dota 2 is the 3-2-2 incident for Rock's Kiss. Is let's try to take the stance that Liquid wanted to lose this game.
Okay.
Do you feel like it's okay that they swap around the roles and that they lose the game to improve their chances to not meet SNA if that's what they want to avoid, or do you feel like this is so unsportsmanlike behavior that it should actually be punished or disallowed by rules, and how do you prevent it?
So so it's not against the rules. There's no way to actually punish them, I don't think.
Or
but
prove. Yeah.
You can still think that they're pretty douchey for doing it.
Yes.
I think most people think that. Let's not kid ourselves here. Let's not beat around the bush. Pretty douche move overall.
And what makes this a really big storyline is that it's actually two of Liquid's ex-teammates, Fluff and Stuff and Ike's Mike, who are affected by it because they're Sneaky Nick's assassins, and if Liquid would have won that game, Sneaky Nick's was guaranteed top 4, so they would have been through. So I feel like there's a lot of drama here because, I mean, one thing is to throw a game, but it's almost like it's on the next level when you do it to your ex-teammates. I feel like that's even further to take it.
It's interesting, actually, and you could argue maybe that Liquid were just going to have fun and they wanted to maybe just switch their lineup. There wasn't pressure on them to win anything. They were going to be top 2 anyways, and I want to get your opinion, Kyle. What did you think about the entire situation?
I mean, I could see it both ways. I feel like if they had made better choices, better builds, they could have definitely secured that game.
Yeah.
And then I would assume eHug would be able to step in and be the 4th place. But I could also see it, maybe they feel more comfortable going against one of the other 2 teams in the playoffs. I mean, they're battling to be able to make it into TI and get a chance at all that money. So there's always a lot on the line. It's hard. I'm trying not to be too biased on it, but
don't be afraid,
I think they could have won if they really wanted it, but clearly they wanted to try some other stuff out.
Yeah, so there's one thing I wanted to bring up. Like, what if we say Liquid just wanted to lose the game? Do you think, what would have been the more unsportsmanlike thing? Just default losing, so not even playing the game, because they were like, we're going to do this as a strategic move. We know this is going to put us in a better position. The format is the way it is. We want to put it to our advantage. Or do you think it's better that they play a game and they clown around, they swap their roles, they did terrible item builds? Like, what's the better move? Because, I mean,
it's more douchey, I think, the latter way, like Sunsfan was talking about. I'd agree with that. I think, like, if you're going to clown around, like, if you want to lose the game, then just FF. I think you don't have to, like, sit there and just play, like, a 50-minute game that people are watching, and you're kind of, like, almost insulting certain people, maybe even the opposing team to a certain extent. That's my take on it, but others could argue, differently.
If you don't play, I guess maybe they feel like they could be denying their fans the game.
Yeah,
if they're not playing it at all, they're denying their sponsors. So I think they're pressured to play the game. How they play it, though, as we saw, they could play it any way they want. And then now it leaves us all scratching our heads as far as what were their motives of going into it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we're going to leave that hanging now, I guess, because we're actually pretty far into the draft. So, let's go have a look at that right now, because we are obviously going through with Sneaky Nicks versus eHug now, and Yeah, this is... I really want to keep this discussion going because I'm really curious about what people think. So you can use the hashtag TI4NA on Twitter to discuss about this incident right now.
You could also use hashtag douche. I would accept that as well. That's fine with me.
Hashtag douche. We'll see if we can get that trending. Okay.
Absolutely.
But yeah, enough about that. We'll discuss that on Twitter and other social media or whatnot. But I mean, we're in the situation now. It's Sneaky Nicks versus eHug. Sneaky Nicks will be on the Dire side, eHug will be on the Radiant, and we should mention the order in which the games are played. If any team loses 2 games, they're obviously out, but the first game right now is Sneaky Nicks eHug, and then it's the winner of this game against Union, which means that we will see 3 games no matter what, because nothing is guaranteed after the first 2.
Right.
Let's look at a little bit of the bans. We've got Bad Ride and Naga. Naga actually being banned in the first phase, which is something I don't think we've seen this tournament so far.
That's odd.
Like and Sanking, no big surprise.
Yeah, well, Shadow Fiend, we've been seeing a lot in this tournament. TA, we just saw a couple games ago as well. Wraith King on top of that, but for Sneaky Nicks Assassin so far, we have Darkseer Disruptor, so starting off with some major teamfight skills, and of course, I always talk about how Glimpse is my favorite skill in the game. Would you consider it, even though people say it's amazing, would you still consider it underrated, honestly?
Yes.
It's insane.
I actually would.
It's seriously, I think it's the best single... it's the best skill that isn't an ultimate overall, in my opinion.
It is one of them, at least, because when you get into Pro Dota 2, positioning and map movements are so crucial. And the thing is, this makes this hero so unique because there's pretty much no other hero that does anything even remotely similar to this. So when you're playing against Disruptor, you're forced into playing the game completely differently. So it's one thing how good the ability is, but it's another thing if you're not used to playing against it a lot, then you get caught out. We saw it very much in the game with Gnar against SNA, I think that was, where Korok was playing Mirana, and it just seemed like he wasn't familiar with playing against Disruptor, or Whitebeard also just played an amazing game, but if you don't have a BKB, you can't stop that Glimpse, and it's just absolutely insane for breaking position.
That's true. And, oh, thank Jesus. We get the Centaur picked up from eHug to go along with the very patented Mirana Shadow Demon, which... I think the only game we didn't really see it go into full effect was, I believe it was Team Liquid, where they just weren't aggressive with it. I can't remember if it was actually them. But typically speaking, that wins you lanes. Disruption into Arrow with Soul Catcher combination. Actually, technically speaking, you know how much I love Centaur. Centaur Shadow Demon is actually a ridiculous dual lane if they end up doing that. But rarely do we see Centaur in that position. But of course, Mirana can do absolutely anything. She can be mid, she can be support, she can be off lane. It's up in the air what she's going to end up being, but typically we see Jigglebilly on the carry.
I'm wondering what eHug's approach is when they ban out Shadow Fiend as well as the Templar Assassin. If there's a particular mid hero they're setting up for, you see Nyx banning out the Invoker. Maybe that's what eHug wanted when they started banning these strong mid laners, or if it's just respect bans towards Ush, who perhaps he's probably for me the most standout up-and-coming player from this tournament. I've been really impressed by Ush's play. Of course, we have bigger stars that you knew would be performing on a high level, but coming into this tournament, myself personally not really knowing Ush and SNA that well, I feel like Ush has really left a mark on this tournament, regardless of how it goes.
Yep.
So maybe not the worst player to ban against.
That's true. We're going to get a Wisp. Okay.
So it's Ornix.
Yeah.
Or a mid Disruptor, which I love, but...
Yeah, mid Disruptor is very... Well, I keep bringing up the word underrated. It still is. I mean, getting levels on him is crucial. But typically speaking, when people pick Disruptor these days, he's normally like a 4. And you usually get levels on your 4, unless you're just getting Dominate or something like that. But, yeah, the question is, who are they going to team up with Wisp? I mean, obviously the thing that comes to mind is Tiny. Is that a good pick this game? I guess it's always a good pick. When is it not a good pick, actually, is a better question. But I do like the Centaur pick, and I'm not sure why this hero has... I don't know if I want to say he's fallen off, but he's fallen off in this tournament specifically, for whatever reason.
And when you think about the nerf he got in the version, it was only Hoof Stomp, which got a higher mana cost on level 1, 2, and 3, to be fair. But you still generally have mana for your abilities. Only Hoof Stomp and Stampede have mana costs, which combined is 210. And since Blink Dagger is free, it makes him a little bit weaker in terms of lane play, but the overall hero is the same. And you mainly pick Centaur for the Stampede, and that was untouched.
Well, and the Stampede against Wisp is amazing.
That's so good. And
the
they didn't even pick it against Wisp.
Exactly, they pick Wisp after the Centaur, which is kind of questioning.
Really
but
and Shadow Demon is good against IO too.
Yeah, that's true.
Disrupt the guy who gets...
Disruption, even Purge in some cases, depending on the hero that Wisp is up with. But Visage is going to be in the comp. I'm assuming Shadow Demon, Visage, Mirana. This is one of the scariest tri-lanes you could ever have. Just aggression all over the place. I'm assuming that's what they're going to end up doing. I'm hoping that's what, because we're going to be seeing a lot of a lot of kills if that's the case. So meaning they probably need a mid at this point. Who is available? I guess Puck is still available. Storm, we've seen some Quap lately as well. But I guess Sneaky Nix doesn't have their mid either, unless they want to do. Well, I guess they must have their mid. It must be. It could be the dual lane Wisp. If it's like a Tiny, a dual lane Wisp Tiny is pretty good.
I actually think, this is something we don't really see that frequently anymore. If you want to run Wisp Chaos Knight, this is one of the better games to do it in. So the way I always look at it is, Chaos Knight is, in theory, one of the strongest late gamer in the game, especially now that Phantasm got buffed, so you can even make 4 illusions with your ultimate 50% of the time. If there's no AoE to kill your illusions, you have the highest damage at that point. Like, 5 Chaos Knights dealing full damage is absolutely insane. And you look over eHug, they don't really have significant AoE. They've got Starstorm, they've got a little bit of Shadow Poison. Double Edge, yes, if you get into position for that, which is kind of hard, and Visage is just garbage against illusions. That hero does nothing to them. So I think Sneaky Nix could consider that. Tiny is probably the more stable choice, but that might get banned by eHug, and then they have to resort to something else. Or do we see the Ush or SNA Ursa, which he loves to play and which could be decent here. But again, Ursa against Stampede, man, do you really want that?
Yeah. I mean,
you want a stun, not a slow.
That's true. Ursa's biggest issue is catching up to people, and you're not going to catch up to Stampeded creatures. And they are going to ban the Tiny. I think that's probably the best bet. See how fast Sneaky Nix hasn't actually picked, because perhaps they thought Tiny would be available. You said the CK is available. People have been kind of hating on that lately. And I can see why. I mean, the one good thing about it, you can obviously say the same thing about Ricky and who did we just see? PA. Not too long ago. Any kind of blink basically ensures that Tether is going to proc. But of course, it's not a stun anymore, which makes CK not nearly as good as it used to be. But I mean, 100% movement speed and attack speed slow is pretty good. And they're going to go Ursa. Yeah. So this is a risky pick.
I think this isn't the best and also not the worst Ursa game. You've got Demonic Purge against Ursa, which is absolutely fantastic, and Stampede against 1 stun for Sneaky Nix. So Stampede is like the ultimate slow counter in the game, because it's not like you even need to target it. You just see, oh, one of my allies is getting slowed up, he might get killed. Stampede, run.
Right.
Ursa and Io combined, until this Ursa gets an Abyssal Blade, they cannot reliably relocate gank anyone without the Nyx with a stun. You can always just run out. Sure, you can Surge the Ursa and he can run at the same movement speed, but same is not faster, right?
Well, this is why I feel like the Disruptor is really crucial in this game.
Yeah, Glimpse is going to be important.
The Glimpse into kinetic field is going to be... Wow, we're going to see a Viper. People,
Viper.
Everybody in the house, most notably, was it Fear? I can't remember exactly. I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but they really hate Viper. Thinks he's complete trash.
Yeah.
He falls off quite a bit. Obviously, Mech, Aghanims, and then after that, it's like...
Oh,
what else do you get?
He didn't say it's a bad hero. He just said it's boring to play, it's boring to play against, and it's boring to watch. So
he hates it.
He hates the hero, but he doesn't think it's bad.
Okay,
I think that's the important thing.
Right, okay.
So there are some games where Viper is good. I think the main standout team right now at using Viper on a world scale is DK, playing it safe lane on Burning. They play the lineup where Viper does indeed go for that tank build with mech into Ags, and then they have another carry in mid game. And I think that's the style eHug could be playing here if they put the Mirana mid, which I don't think they'll do.
Well, the beauty of this, and we already mentioned it with the Demonic Purge, but you have 2 abilities now that slow ridiculously through BKB, which Ursa always needs to get. So the question is, like, how is he going to be effective in this game? I mean, they are in the Dire, so they're going to have the Roshan advantage.
Yeah.
So it's going to be up to eHug to actually look into that and keep tabs. Let's go over the teams, though. eHug, we're going to see Cakes playing the off-lane Centaur. Doesn't have any items on him. Oh, wait, he does have a... What's that thing on his back? I'm talking about his or the cosmetics, which are very important in this game.
His weapon is called the Horned Mother.
The Gloried Horn... Okay. The Horned Mother. That's real? I thought... wait, is that a tag?
No, it's not. That's the name of the weapon.
Okay, that's pretty sick. Okay, I like that now. Okay, I forget what I just said. Jigglebilly himself will be playing... I don't know why he's playing under the name No, but... He needs to get his name out there. He's going to be famous after this, obviously. No. Playing the Viper. Fandago's going to be on the Shadow Demon. I'm a Sheep on Visage. And last but not least, Justin on the Mirana, which I guess it's interchangeable with Jigglebilly quite a bit. They swap Mirana every other game, it seems.
I think the player profile for Jigglebilly is whenever there is a tanky, like, commitment hero, like he's played Huskar, he's played Viper, you want him to play Pudge, which he hasn't done yet. I think he played another strength hero that just goes really deep into fights. Okay, Viper's in the strength hero, but you get the idea.
Close enough.
He likes to play that, so no big surprise to see him on that. Now, for Nyx, we're going to have Fluff and Stuff playing as the IO. Disruptor will be played by Whitebeard, who has been playing an amazing Disruptor so far in this tournament. Nyx Assassin will be handled by IX Mike Tyson. Darkseer will be played by SNA, and then finally Ush with the Ursa. In mid lane, dual lane against this Viper. This is, I think this might be the lane to watch, to be honest.
It really is. I mean, I don't know if there's going to be the most action. There could be. It's the most important lane, though, I feel. I mean, Ursa it's a make-or-break hero in a lot of ways, and for sneaking Nyx, I feel like he has to get off to a good start.
He is so crucial in this draft. He needs
If
farm.
he's garbage in this game, I don't see them winning this.
No.
But the good thing about picking the Ursa on Dire, there's always the ability to come back a little bit thanks to the Roshan that we talked about.
But the one thing about the Roche pit, though, is that if you want to try to sneak a Roche, first of all, it needs to not be obvious, and it's fairly obvious when Ursa's missing from mid early on.
Well,
right?
keep in mind, you can go kill him earlier now just by getting a Morbid Mask and that alone.
Sure, but as long as you're missing for that long time, it's going to be pretty obvious that it's there. And then the question is, who has the better Roche pit fight? And I would say eHug does for a very long time in this game until SNA really come online. They need so many levels to be good at team fighting. eHug has Disruption that's useful immediately. Hoofstomp is useful immediately. Arrow. And, okay, arguably Visage needs level 6 to be very useful around the pit, but you look over at SNA, as if the Ursa dies, what can they really fight with? And he's already on Roche, so he's under pressure.
That is true. Bottom lane, we're going to be looking at a Mirana, Visage, and Shadow Demon lane against the Darkseer, who will die on the first disruption, almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
Unless there's like some major misplay, there's no reason not to get a kill in this lane. So the real question is, can eHug prevent him from getting any XP? And I feel like that's also a big thing to note in this game.
Yeah, and if this isn't really paying off for SNA right now, sure, he might get a CS or two with this Iron Shells, but it's just so crucial to get that level 2 on Darkseer, and he's got like half a level, and, well, not this wave isn't going to get him his level 2, so perhaps he will be forced into jungle soon, which is not too bad for Darkseer. The hard thing for offlaners in most cases is to make the right call about when do you give up. And
he's
the most
top lane right
experienced
now.
ones, he was like, whatever, I'm done with this. And
I think
I
they're
agree
rotating.
with this call. I feel like he can't stay down there. Darkseer also has a lot of importance in this lineup. If we're talking about how important Ursa is, Ursa with Iron Shell is just that much more explosive. So
that's true.
Get the Darkseer to level 7 for that level 4 shell.
So the supports in the top lane, I'm guessing this is just going to become like some pseudo-jungle tri-lane where there's no real aggression coming out. They just want to get levels, and again, like you said, it's very important for them. Well, I guess you could say that by any team, but them particularly. Fluff and Stuff still level 1 on the Wisp. I assume once they get the bottle, they're going to be going pretty deep on this Viper. What do you think about this matchup? Is Viper in real trouble here?
Well, so far he's out farming the Ursa, so...
Well, now that Wisp is in lane.
Yeah.
It was a 1v1. Obviously, Viper wins that.
When Viper's level 6, I feel like he's pretty much safe, so they needed to do it until then, but since he's had a good start, we might see him get tier 2 boots very early on. If he wants to go that path, he could also go directly into mech with just brown boots, but it's, I don't know, to be honest. I think this lane is... The way it is right now, Fluff is not really providing anything. That's my main concern. Ursa's actually doing fine in terms of getting farm, but... What is Io really contributing here? Could he go somewhere else and be more useful? And more importantly, what's going to happen to this bottom lane? Like, no one is down there for SNA. They can't really put down the Darkseer, which is fine. But what happens now when eHug starts pushing the tower? Darkseer doesn't have a TP just yet. I feel like they need to do this. They can't just give that tower away, and there's the TP from Nyx. So,
so a little bit of rotation is good. And keep in mind, I mean, eHug, they need to take advantage of nobody being in lane, too. I mean, sure, there's a Nyx assassin, but... He's not going to really hold this. So the question is, do they want to push, which seems that's going to be the case, or are they going to rotate people around? And I don't think rotating around is the greatest idea.
Disruption!
Disruption into Soulcatcher, into the arrow, but the spike carapace is up, but the stun, of course, is still there. Soul Assumption, in all likelihood, will finish off IX Mike, and that is the first blood going eHug's way. This has got to be top 5 tri-lanes that you could possibly come up with. It is sick. I mean, Visage, one of the best supports in a tri-lane, obviously because of the Soul Assumption. And then you could interchange, I feel like, Mirana for a lot of different heroes, but the Shadow Demon, Disruption, and Soulcatcher is what really makes this lane amazing.
It is a very potent lane for sure, and the important thing about this kill is not only that he will secure the tower, but IX Mike lost 2 creep waves there that he was trying to pull up, so he lost a lot of experience. They get the first blood. Who got that, actually? I think it went to the Visage, of course, so he gets his boots. He is, we're going to see which build he runs this game if he wants to get the mech for the team, which he probably won't because they have a Viper with already a chainmail, so guess maybe Medallion, and then into the axe that Visage always gets.
Keep in mind, Wisp has a haste in his bottle right now. I say him, it's an it, but just forgive me. I feel like they could use this to potentially kill Viper, or at least force a TP out, because I mean, what we're talking about Viper being amazing is slowing the Ursa despite having all that movement speed buffs from Wisp, but when there's a haste, that's not going to really slow him down at all. But the stacking continues for Wisp, and that's going to be pretty... Who's going to take that? Is it going to be the Darkseer? Or does Ursa just get lifesteal and just go deep into the forest?
Well, he's maxed the Earthshock right now, so it is possible that they're going to give this to Ush, and we talked about how important the Ursa is going to be. Actually, there's going to be a fight here, and that one is going to be won by Jigglebilly by
Nether
manning up.
Toxin. Fluff and Stuff uses the haste on himself. I'm actually... I guess
Who else would he use it on?
That's true, you can't use the bottle. That is true. I was actually feeling that the Viper wouldn't be able to survive that, but Nether Toxin too strong.
Yeah, and Ursa, it kind of bit him in the ass there that he leveled Earthshock up highest. If he had 3 points in overpower, he would have got the kill. But
Yeah,
he got 3 fast attacks off, and then he didn't have any more in the
How
tank.
can you see a 3-1-1 on Ursa?
It's actually surprisingly common, especially when he's played in mid, because it's a good lane pushing skill. It's a way of getting the runes, securing that, and when you're playing against the Viper, it's a great way of securing
But you have
farm.
a Wisp taking the runes for you.
That's the thing. I don't know. It might just be to optimize his farm later on. You can farm the stacks in the jungle way faster with Earthshock leveled up than with Overpower, because obviously you need to do a lot of attacks, whereas Earthshock... A level 4 Earthshock does 240 damage. If you have like 10 creeps in the camp, it's 2400 damage you do. But they are going to give it to SNA, the Darkseer. So he's going to be level 6. He's getting a lot of experience. He has so much farm already.
I mean, look at the last hit. I mean, obviously it's the jungle, so you can't equate them. You can't. They're not comparable, I guess you could say. But
he still has the highest net
still
worth.
is by far the highest. That's the thing. And most of them are like big neutrals, which are worth a lot more than normal creeps, obviously. So yeah, and he had to leave the lane really early. So this is a really good
recovery plan.
Yeah, recovery. Thank you, Cinder. Your English is so good.
Thank you very much.
So often, man.
I practice every day. So Ursa is going to hit level 6. Io is level 3, so relocate is far off being an option at this point. And I think, considering that eHug played this bottom lane as a tri lane, pretty much static tri lane, it's really good for them to have a level 5 Visage at the 7-minute mark. Pandago has been sacrificing himself a bit. He's only level 3, almost level 4 now. He's probably going to crack that here. Yep.
But they're still sharing experience. They need to get more out of this. So this tower kill is going to help quite a bit. And then they can start rotating around a bit, I feel. And Mirana should be fine by herself in this bottom lane.
Yeah, this is looking like a really good early game for eHug so far, and especially since Ursa already died, if they can bring him down again and kind of lock him down, the Viper and the Darkseer are probably going to have their mechs at roughly the same time. Okay, Viper actually already has the gold for his, so Darkseer is behind by about 600-700 gold on the mech, which is of course the Soul Ring differential.
Seeing a Stampede. Is he going to be able to catch up with the SNA? Not quite, and the Hoof Stomp actually misses, so he's on the retreat.
Oh, now Whitebeard is in. He's got level 3 glimpse.
And the range is
I don't think they can kill the Centaur. They shouldn't even try to go for him.
Yeah, they have no damage.
And meanwhile, bottom lane, Alex Mike will pull away the creep.
Oh wow, they're actually going to continue to push this tier 2. So what do you feel about pushing the tier 2 at this stage of the game? Because it opens up a lot for Sneaky Nicks to actually farm that lane, because there's no way you're getting a tier 3 at this stage.
I think in terms of farming, it doesn't really matter too much. I think it's more the amount of time you commit to that. If you don't succeed, it's really not worth it. Because Visage and Shadow Demon need those level 6s. Visage is looking okay on his. Shadow Demon's still 2 full levels away from that. So I think a rotation with Smoke right now, especially if they could kill Ash, who's actually going to maybe kill Cakes here.
The Fury Swipe's too strong. We have a TP support. Shadow Demon, a nice disruption into Soul Catcher. Kinetic Field is there, though, along with the move speed from Fluff and Stuff. And it looks like the aggression will end here. So, of course, the thing that was the obvious statement that we didn't really go over, if he can catch up to Centaur, Ursa is the best counter, along with lifesteal, I guess, to some degree, against strength heroes, because you pretty much ignore how much health you have when the Fury Swipes get that ridiculously high.
Yeah. But for now, with Ush's build, it's going to take a little longer time before Fury Swipes will just really start kicking in.
That's true. It's not even a high level, too. That's the sad part.
He took 3 points in Earthshock, but when he starts leveling these two up really highly, I'm assuming he's going to keep Earthshock on level 3, to be honest, at this point, and just focus on the other. He did buy the Morbid Mask, so Roshan is now easily soloable for him, but again, it's kind of a risky play to go for right now because it's going to be so incredibly obvious. But if SNA can force eHug on the defensive somehow by pushing a tower, forcing TPs, it might open up for Ursa to take the rush. We're going to see if they can pull that.
Meanwhile, Justin... Did I call him Jigglebilly earlier?
Oh, I think you called him Justin.
Okay, because I'm so used to seeing Jigglebilly on Mirana, but... really, we're looking at Viper. He's going to be getting his mech very shortly, just needs the recipe, and then after that, I mean, it's like the standard thing. You get mech, you get Ags, and then after that, I guess it opens up a little bit, but your main strength is when you get like the first 5 to 10 minutes when you have that Aghanim Scepter. So there's the mech. Okay, you already had the recipe, so he just has 500 gold on top of that.
Yeah.
Net worth charts we have here that are completely broken thanks to Brian. The last game broke it. Okay. Well, one team has net worth over the other one. Here we have a Disruption Soul Catcher combination, but Fluff and Stuff uses the ridiculous range on Tether to get away.
Arrow. Oh, kind of close. So yeah, mech
You're
is
making
online.
God's panic on the camera. Arrow? Let's just say random things so he goes out of the way. It looks like the push is going. Actually, Justin comes to the mid lane to push this with his.
Oh,
team.
I'm hearing a glimpse. Just kidding, gods. He's standing behind the tower. Don't worry about it. So yeah, they're going to be putting some decent pressure here in this tier 1. Meanwhile, Ursa is pushing the top lane, and I want to talk a little bit about the Viper Ags in this game. Ursa is arguably one of the worst carries to have an Ags against, because you want to have the attack speed slow as a big part of it, but when you have overpower, you kind of don't care about getting your attack speed slow. So it's about the movement speed, but if there is some sort of way for him to just get in first, maybe IO can also help him a bit when he's slowed by the Viper Strike. It's still really, really crucial, but at the end of the day, if they manage to lock down a target, the Viper Strike is not going to keep him alive against the Ursa.
There's still 3 melee, though. I mean, I feel like you still get Ags, right?
Yeah, it's still a really good choice. Okay. It gives Viper, of course, the cast range, the cooldown reduction, and the stats are useful for him too.
I completely forgot about the cast range. That's,
it is really good.
Oh, Arrow's going to miss for Justin, but it's probably going to force out SNA, SNA, whatever you want to call him. Why is his name the same as the team? Why? Please, answer the question. This isn't a rhetorical question, Cinderin. You have the inside knowledge as an ex-pro player, obviously. There's the network chart. Good job, Brian. We love you. I like the yellow. It's a nice addition.
Amazing.
Actually, I don't know what the StarCraft one looks like, so I can't really compare. So
he fixed it.
We'll get back to you, I suppose. It's a lot more monochromatic.
So, 2,400, the net worth differential here, and a little...
We don't have time for talking, Cinderin. Justin! Oh, the Impale isn't there quite yet. Can they catch up? The Vacuum's going to get him.
Very nicely.
Beautifully done. Okay, you can continue your thought now. I truly apologize.
I don't know if I had a thought. What was my thought? Yeah, okay, so 2,400 gold. The experience, as a matter of fact, going SNA's way, and it's mainly because of SNA's player SNA, who is playing...
Such an annoying...
Man, if he was playing Nyx Assassin too, then you just give up, right? It's SNA playing the Nyx Assassin
there is a Nyx on their team too,
yeah,
so
I mean,
it's just...
do you feel like he's sneaky, though? Like, has Ixmike been sneaky enough this game?
He just was.
Yeah, that was kind of sneaky.
I mean, Vendetta is sneaky.
He made Mirana think she got away with the leap, but then Vacuum in.
That's
very, very sneaky play by Ixmike.
Ooh, Blink on Centaur at the 12.5-minute mark as the offlaner is very good.
He was doing well. He's got 55 CS as an offlaner in 12, so... This is slightly worrying for SNA, and they are not going to see it coming, of course. There's always the surprise factor when you don't know the Blink is there. Usually that sets you up for 1 kill, maybe 2. Maybe it wins you an entire team fight, which will, of course, be awesome here for Cakes if he can pull that off. But pull this off, right? You just need a disruption on a guy. And then Shadow Demon and Centaur right now can team up and kill any hero on the Dire side, I think. Maybe bar the Darkseer because that's the mech. I think anyone else they catch off is just dead.
Wait, which heroes?
Sorry?
Can take out...
Shadow Demon and Centaur together.
Oh, I
think
agree.
Can kill anyone else than the Darkseer.
I love that combination. We never see it, like in lane at least, but hopefully we're going to see it in the middle of the game. Soul Catcher into Double Edge is dirty to say. Oh, I was going to say, well, he picked up his Blink, so this means aggression is about to come. Yeah. They're going to try to take out Roche. And then
Familiar scouting, too easy.
Okay. Good job, eHug.
Yeah, very, very nice awareness here from I'm a Sheep to immediately check that. He's got the medallion as well, by the way. I'm not sure we pointed that out.
That was very nice for them to let the creeps get the ward, the 50 gold to the creeps.
Supporting the T.
I interrupted you.
Yeah, thank you very much. But yeah, easy for him to guard the Roche. I'm wondering when this medallion is really going to come into effect. We usually see Visage getting it, especially on the Dire, to allow for an easy Roshan. But the synergy with Mirana is okay. You also have the Viper dealing physical damage, so it's not all that bad. And I'm assuming since Nether Toxin is physical damage, then I would guess the medallion also has an impact on that. So Nether Toxin just
well, and the Visage familiars once he has
the familiars themselves, of course, is kind of a no-brainer. But I would say if you get it only for them, then maybe there's a better choice.
Man, Blink daggers are like really in these days, huh? Pretty insane.
Yeah, you don't say.
So ever since they changed
that, no mana cost.
Yeah, the mana cost obviously is a huge buff to a lot of strength heroes in particular. It's actually
SNA could be in trouble. And I'm talking about the player, the team, and the
courier. And the courier. Don't forget about the courier. Very important.
Here we go.
Gonna hit. They're gonna get the courier. There's a Soul Catcher. Boom! Sorry. The Double Edge just does something to me inside. I'm not sure what it is, but it's really good.
There might be a glimpse here from Whitebeard. No, not gonna be the case. So that was basically the what's that called? Like in naval warfare, there's the destroyer ships that like sail in and destroy the cruisers, right? That was what the Familiars just did to the courier. It was like 2 destroyers
Oh,
with
if they
only
can get the stun off, they don't even need it. Goodbye, IX Mike.
Sneak yourself
But
out
in
of
the
that
meantime,
one.
I'm not sure if that was a relocate. I don't think, no, it doesn't look like it was a relocate, but they're going to continue to push this tier 2 top. Going to be forced out, though. And Roshan, well, he's ripe for the picking for somebody. Surprised that we're not seeing more contention here. We see the point booster now in Visage, so definitely going towards that Aghanim Scepter. Wisp is horribly underfarmed, excuse me, along with the Shadow Demon from the opposite team. But Shadow Demon, I feel like you don't need that much farm on to be effective. I mean, his skill, especially if you have 3 melee, Demonic Purge is always going to be good. Disruption's always going to be good. Soulcat, you get the idea. Shadow Poison is the only one. It's just more for vision, but either way. And looks like an Aghanim Scepter might be finished on somebody with that courier. Probably the Viper.
Whoa, you're kidding me, right?
I'm not sure if he has the
Oh my
point boost
goodness,
yet.
he actually has it in
Another
200 gold. Are
150
you
gold.
serious? His net worth is through the roof. So Dire are going to get the Roshan here, which you could say they didn't work that hard for it, but after all, the team with Ursa on Dire, 16 minutes is pretty late. So eHug did a pretty good job defending that. They got a couple of kills out of it. They got the tier 1 mid. So overall, advantage eHug, and the advantage is about 3,000 gold. Still deficit on experience, but I'm wondering, so let's say this game goes pretty far. We know Ursa falls off in the late game. He's easy to kite, and especially these heroes on eHug can kite him really hard.
Yep.
I think the player who has to step up and perform in this game is going to be the Darkseer, and he needs to get an Aghanim Scepter, so he can make an illusion of the Mirana, who's an agility hero, of the Viper, and of the Centaur, who has a lot of strength.
Right.
So he gets these illusions, and he can turn them on eHug, because Darkseer is arguably the best core hero who isn't a carry in late game. He's the best utility, I think. The wall is insane. Vacuum wins fights. They have decent synergy Vacuum into Impale and into the Static Storm, of course, which we didn't even talk about. But this is really a game where Darkseer... If Darkseer
really
doesn't perform, I think they'll lose.
If you really want Darkseer to perform at the highest level, I feel like it comes down to Disruptor as well. The combination is just so sick, and I think Disruptor, we talk about this time and time again, the biggest counter to him is BKB, unless you get an Aghanim Scepter on Disruptor. So if you can actually farm that, that's pretty huge, because you have Mirana, who's probably going to get a BKB. Viper might be forced to get a BKB in this game, just to be able to walk through the kinetic field without issue. And of course, the Centaur ult, being able to use that to help your entire team out of the kinetic field, those that are BKB'd, is pretty huge as well. And Centaur might even have to get a BKB himself. I feel like I've said BKB a million times, but that's okay. It's that important.
BKB.
Yes, BK Bizzle, actually. Let's call it BK Bizzle.
No,
now.
I absolutely hate when you say that.
Why?
Because it's disgusting.
Is this a blade mill on Centaur?
IX Mike's going to get an Iron Shell and a Surge, but apparently that was really obvious for Cakes, so he just blinks away.
He can't kill Centaur, man. It's Centaur.
No, it's kind of hard. It's a hard target for them to go on. There is the Vlad's picked up by Ursa. This is really late, an 18-minute Vlad. He does have 1.3k to boot, though.
Oh, here comes the hoof stomp. Nice spike carapace. Is that going to save him, though? Double Edge is half his HP. Soul Assumption. Good
and
God, man.
Oh,
Here
boy.
comes the Wisp combinations, along with Ursa. He's going to be able to get the kill on Cakes. There's the Static Storm, along with the Kinetic Field. Justin stuck inside the Kinetic Field. You see how strong that can be. Aegis is popped onto the Ursa. It looks like Visage is going to fall one way or another. The right clicks of the beautiful Darkseer. He's known for his right clicks more than anything else, of course.
And apparently for his looks.
That's 3-for-1 exchange. Of course, we're not counting the Aegis overall, as Pandega will
4-for-1.
take a spill. That's 4-for-1. So it's not, I didn't think they have a great
4-for-2.
position.
Fluff is going to die here.
Stuff.
I think...
Oh,
yes, he does die in the
barely
base.
goes down. Another Toxin for the win again.
Good
Here comes
vacuum.
the Vacuum. Along with the Ion Shell, the Kinetic Field's not going to hit, but Ush, Surge, goodbye. So a complete team wipe when... The
If he
positioning
would
for
have been
SNA,
glimpsed back there, he would have got a kill. He had his ultimate ready again. He could have just cast it on either SNA
Maelstrom. So we're talking about
Disruptor
how
here.
Fury Swipes isn't an orb anymore. What's great on him? Well, Mjolnir at some point.
So he does pick up the Maelstrom, which is, yeah.
So you've talked about this, how it's technically, it could be good on Ursa, but of course, something to keep in mind is his ultimate takes into account how much health he has. So
Yeah.
like a Satanic at some point might also be a good option. But, I mean, Maelstrom is just full DPS. You're not going for
I
any
think
stats.
at this point it actually makes a lot of sense to get it, because what Ursas usually go for in this stage is a BKB, but against eHug's lineup, it's really not that good. There's Demonic Purge to slow your movement speed, there is the Viper Strike, and even if you can avoid the Hoof Stomp and maybe some damage from the Visage, I still feel, oh boy, we're going to wait with that, we're going to have a death right here.
Oh no, and it's
is
Ursa destroying
gone.
the Shadow Demon, and here we have the Stampede, but there goes Ursa. Beautiful vacuum, but there's not going to be any follow-up. It's a 2-for-1 exchange right now in the favor
Mike
of
is
eHug.
coming in from the side.
Mike's coming in, apparently, with the Vendetta.
He's
He's going to be able to find. He's going to find Cakes. This is actually pretty risky for him. Gets a little bit blocked by the creeps. Post not being canceled as far as the animation is concerned. Viper Strike. That was the longest range Viper Strike. Good. He must have Axe, if that's the case. That was insane range. Here we have the Surge. SNA looking for those Mud Golems. Not going to find him, along with the Viper. So it looks like eHug's going to be on the back foot. The smoke was successful overall, but I mean, the Ursa, that's all you really want to kill at this point.
He's still down for 10 seconds. This is probably the tower. Nether Toxin, of course. Oh, it's only level 1, so not really too potent at this point, but they're still gonna... I think they're gonna claim this. Oh, well, maybe not. 3 seconds. Glimpse is available, so is Static Storm. They actually have the whole combo on SNA. Here we go!
Oh, Vacuum Wall. Here comes Wisp. Static Storm's gonna be upon all Cakes. You're stuck inside the Static Storm. You can't do anything about it, and Ush is gonna continue, although he is slowed. Gets surged after the fact. Shadow Demon doing a good job with the disruption as far as the Soul Catcher. Justin on the side is going to get impaled and taken out in all likelihood to the Visage. No, actually, that's on his team. I apologize. Anyway, Blink... God, these Blink Daggers just coming off left and right here. IX Mike, Fluff and Stuff is doing work with as far as movement speed is concerned. The Impale has been on the mark this game. Another team wipe. And SNA is just... It's just the execution overall that's been way better than eHug. I feel like it was even 2 fights ago, but the execution overall for SNA, especially at the tier 1 bottom, that's where the game kind of turned around, although it's only been a few minutes.
Yeah, a couple of things in this fight. Of course, they get a decent initiation with Vac Wall. That could have actually been even better for SNA. The Disruptor came in a little bit late with his follow-up, but it didn't really end up mattering. I think the fact that they don't get Stampede off, I think it was on cooldown for Cakes, put them in a really bad position, because that's what they can do. When they get vacuumed in, they can just reset. They can reset with Stampede, turn around, get a better position, get Viper in a good position as well, and make sure they lock down the Ursa. That fight was a little bit spread all over the place. I think Visage managed to take down the Disruptor, but he committed like 15 seconds, his familiars, all of his mana, to getting a kill on the Disruptor who already used his spells, so kind of not the most efficient usage of the Visage in that fight, I feel.
What do you think about Blade Mail on Centaur this game? I mean, I know it's great against Ursa, but you have to figure that Ursa... Actually, we're going to have to see IX Mike. Perhaps wants to initiate on Justin. He's not going to have any backup. Did he didn't hit
relocate.
Okay, here comes the relocate. It's not even going to matter. There, Shadow Demon with a nice disruption on top of the Soul Catcher. Again, IX Mike getting slowed from the ulti. Justin goes down to the negative earn charge, though. Truly unfortunate. And Ush, whatever you want to call him, goes pretty deep, but gets sent back by EO.
Oh,
nice
good double stomp.
Whitebeard's in a lot of trouble. Soul Catcher's a little late, but it's not really going to matter. SNA's on the run thanks to Surge. So it's a 2-for-2 exchange at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think they might get out.
No, he's got Blink.
Yeah, that would have been...
He has the Compendium Blink, which is pretty OP, if I do say so myself.
Reduces the cooldown by 10 seconds.
SNA almost has a BKB himself. I wanted to mention that it might not be over here. Centaur. Nope, not going to go for it. Blink's up again. The Blade Mail, okay, so technically speaking, it's great against Ursa if he doesn't get BKB, but you feel like Ursa always gets BKB. But this game, if you really look at it, BKB might not be that great. It's okay. Maybe you just force him to get BKB because of the Blade Mail.
Yeah, and another thing is there's so many AoE abilities that he can reflect as well. He can reflect stuff from the wall, he can reflect... If you're standing inside the Static Storm with a Blade Mail, you'd almost kill the Disruptor.
That's true.
So, it's definitely not only against the Ursa, and it's generally just a good item on Centaur. So I think this is an okay pickup in this case. The main question I have for eHug right now is they just lost a couple of fights. Can they keep themselves going in the game and not lose focus and not lose confidence? Because this game was looking really damn good for them. They made a couple of bad decisions now, and if they let that haunt them too much, I feel like SNA could take this game. Although, again, if the farm just evens out, I still favor eHug in the late game scenario, I think.
Look at the levels. Darkseer level 16.
Yeah, that's
Remember
insane.
how he started in that lane?
Oh, he's got BKB too.
Yeah, he finishes BKB, and Mjolnir is now complete on Ursa. He's going to be dealing a lot of right-click damage. He's pretty squishy overall. Of course, he has the lifesteal, but I'm sure Roshan will be up somewhat soon. I don't know. You're right. eHug is a better late game, but Ursa is a really snowball-type hero, so it should be interesting to see what ends up happening.
Yeah,
Viper looks like he's going for BKB as well.
Oh boy, this
company
could be an opening.
They love diving
is
towers.
Available. So actually all 5 heroes for Nyx could collapse here on the mid lane. If they get a good opening here, that could be absolutely huge.
Well, SNA's not there. How can they fight without SNA?
He's kind of close. He's just next to the tier 2
He's
tower.
named after the team. He's pretty important. I
He
think.
can choose to go in here, actually. We might see it happening.
Yeah, he's going right by the. He's trying to. Oh, he's trying to vendetta the courier, but it's a BTS courier. So there's no way you're gonna catch up to that bad boy. IX Mike gets a nice impale.
Sell out.
Oh my God, Whitebeard actually might finish him off. He's gonna blink. Of course he has a blink. Why wouldn't he? One more hit. Oh, BTS, I am truly sorry. Whitebeard's gonna get stomped and hoof stomped. Oh, God, Centaur, you feel so good. Was that worth it? I'm not sure.
I
mean,
guess.
Centaur,
They also got the top tier 2 at the
Centaur
same
gets
time.
stronger and stronger with each kill he gets. Cinder, I don't know if you know that.
Oh, it's like Pudge?
In a way, it's more confidence-wise though.
Okay.
It's not actual stats.
Confidence boost.
So. Absolutely.
Factor
Just-
3 at the moment. Or factor 2. I guess assists can count for a little bit.
Sure.
We have a familiar, Scouting Roche, who did respawn, so expect SNA to try to get in there and grab that soon for Ush. And yeah, I think in the Roche pit right now, we're reaching the stage now where, especially because of how farmed the Darkseer is, they probably have the Roche pit advantage, unless if there's a really good arrow coming out from Justin, so... Wouldn't be surprised to see SNA grabbing up that Aegis in, let's say, a minute or a minute and a half when they push out the lanes properly. And now... I think the Viper is going for Halberd here, which I completely agree with if the Ursa isn't going for a BKB, which he isn't. He just bought a Vitality booster.
Well, what do you think about Ursa getting a BKB, just in general, this game, like against these heroes?
He might have to when there's a Halberd, but until then it's not really a good
forget
choice.
about the items. So just generally speaking, you don't think BKB, like all things considered equal without items taken into account?
Not
BKB
really
is
that,
not that good,
not
right?
really that good here.
Okay. It's really just disruption's the main thing, and I guess arrow to some degree. IX Mike creeping around him some more, but not going to find anybody in that lane because everybody's amalgamating the Radiant Forest. How many Blink Daggers do we have? Can we get a look at the items as Roshan's going to be taken out by Ush? Although, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and only 1 on the opposing team, so
Well, arrow,
Snod's
nice
winning
dodge.
the Blink Dagger wars right now.
Yeah, this fight is absolutely
Disruption,
crucial.
Soul
They
Catcher.
might be able to...
No arrow.
Yeah, if arrow wasn't on cooldown there, that could have started the fight.
Did they use it to scout Roche, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Okay.
So...
Ush just wants to go back in. That's all he cares about. If they can get these Visage Familiars, that's how actually would be pretty big. Kinetic Field giving some vision.
trying to find them.
Yeah, they really are. That's a pretty... I guess Kinetic Field has a pretty low cooldown nowadays, doesn't it?
Yeah, 11 seconds in level 4, so...
Is this Centaur getting a BKB?
Maybe he's getting a Halberd too.
I think double halberd. I mean, the evasion is pretty nice, I guess.
Yeah, that's... I mean, when you think about Halberd, you mostly just put emphasis on the disarm, but the passive stats it gives for its cost are actually really good. And it's not only against the Ursa, it's also against the wall illusions, which are going to play a really big role later on. Having 25% evasion is going to go okay.
Nice move, IX.
Okay. It's going to
Pretty
reflect
cheeky.
that onto Justin.
But Shadow
And
Poison's
here we
gonna
go.
show it. Centaur
the
gets
perfect
sent
glimpse.
back. Oh, she's going to get the free Aegis, or is he? Yes, indeed. And this is a disaster for eHug in the making. Mirana's down. I Am a Sheep is down. And Viper, poor Jigglebilly, I love you, but you're going to go down, bro.
Oh,
Cakes
man,
is the last
such
survivor.
a big play
Wow, that glimpse.
from
that was
SNA. He might get another one.
instantaneous.
They're relocating in.
Oh, God. Glimpse and the blink randomly there. But Cakes, you're in a lot of trouble, good sir. The slow is there from the Wisp. Actually, hooked on very nicely done. Pops the Blade Mail for little to no reason because he stomped everybody. I'm not sure what that was all about. But either he gets a blink off. How's that even? Oh, goodbye.
Okay.
Ush wants to say hello. That is the team wipe again for SNA. eHug is just these like split-second decisions in fights are costing them. And this time it was SNA. The team, not the player. God damn it. Whitebeard. I'll say just Whitebeard.
He should really rename. He really should. But
I officially hate him because of his name now.
I feel like the Darkseer has been putting up such a stellar performance in this game, and it's what we said he had to do, and he's delivered. Oh, nice arrow onto
Whitebeard's
Whitebeard.
down right
But
after that.
again, the vacuum.
Beautiful vacuum. Impale. Ush is just right-clicking. Mana Burn's not able to take down Shadow Demons. And the buyback from Mirana here, so this is a big investment. I believe SNA wants to back up, but as you can see the Viper strike.
He's got a full heart on the Ursa now.
Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so screw the... he can still go Satanic on top of all this, I suppose.
If he wanted to for super late game, but yeah. This is it's
I want
starting
to
to
see
look
how
grim
much
for
damage
eHug.
he does with a Heart and Satanic with his ult.
That is a lot.
That would be... And of course with the Mjolnir charge.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It is pretty sick how much damage he can do. And
So we're talking about like the theory crafting and how disruptors so important, and we're seeing that right now. And I was saying how important the Aghanim Scepter would be, but that's of course only if the game went decently late, where a lot of the members from eHug would end up getting BKB or something like that. It's just, I don't think it's going to be the case here, because SNA is just executing very well.
And it's all about enabling the Ursa, to be honest. They've set it up with the glimpse, they've set it up with the vacuum into kinetic field. That combo is just so deadly when you land it, especially if the disruptor does manage to get an Ag Scepter, which he could be going for. Could also be a 4-step.
Oh, Justin.
Yeah.
Oh.
Crimea River. See what I did there?
Oh, no, that's pretty good.
Never mind.
Okay, no, I got it. It just took like 5 seconds because I don't listen to that kind of music.
Classic
like
Sunspan.
okay.
Oh, what? Okay, nice. Okay. Nice try.
It always comes back to you, Syndrome. Full circle every freaking time, man. Are they just going to wait for the next... I guess they still have Aegis. I'm not sure how much time is left on it, but... They should be aggressive with this. And Cakes' Blade Mail, I feel like, hasn't done a whole lot. Ursa isn't exactly... Yeah, okay, so we have a few more minutes. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Let's get some more zooms in. I don't understand what this camera work's all about.
Yeah.
There's no keeper, he says. That is true. There's no demon on keeper, man.
If you're lacking something to look at, just look at the Horned Mother. You can always zoom in on the Horned Mother.
That's true.
That's good. Okay, Ush is going to be putting pressure on this tower. They can't kill him twice. That's kind of the problem.
Yeah.
He got so much space. He has the items he needs now. And Ush, this is one of his best heroes, and he's been delivering this game. Considering how hard the matchup was, I mean, sure, his allies have enabled him a lot here, but he's also been making the right calls in almost every single case. And are we looking at high ground here for SNA already?
Well, they have the Aegis for a few more minutes, so I don't see why not. Although they might just be resigned to taking this tier 2 bot. And, well, playing it safe, I suppose, is the right way to play. Unless you're, well, never mind. I'm really good at firing shots, and I feel like I do a good job now of holding my tongue. So I'm very happy about that. Viper's going to pick up a BKB. And that will allow him to run through the static field, or the static storm and kinetic field. I love combining names. What is this?
You need to play Zeus. He actually has an ability called Static Field.
Yeah, static field, arc lightning,
It's not like Queen of Pain and her sonar scream.
Sonar scream, so
Yeah.
that's legit.
Okay.
I don't know what you're
So yeah,
talking
the Viper went for a BKB when I was thinking Halberd. I'm not sure
well,
what...
Centaur's going Halberd now, so they just don't want to get too,
Yeah.
I guess.
But what does this BKB really do for the Viper is the question. Like, the wall is still going to make an
That
illusion.
leap's not very good. Oh, he takes an arrow to the face, does IX Mike, but there's the Impale, along with the Ion Shell damage. Justin, you're not going anywhere. Here we have an actual team fight. Wall gets placed. Ush, remember, he has the Aegis, getting locked down, but of course, the right click is so strong with him. Shadow Demon almost kills him with the Shadow Poison, in fact does. Pandago's going to attempt to TP out.
Mike's going to die here, I think.
Ooh, he does TP out. IX Mike, though, you're right, in a lot of trouble. The Visage Familiar is dealing a lot of damage. Viper.
That's kind of an ambitious TP.
Yeah.
Oh, we're really surprisingly close to getting out there.
Unfortunately, the BKB doesn't do a whole lot against Ursa. So
No.
that's the inherent problem with that item. But, I mean, it's good for, as we're going to have, apparently, Cakes just drop to the deck.
Glimpse, good ability.
Yeah.
By Whitebeard. And okay, let's just do a little bit of math. So Glimpse has 1800 cast range and Blink Dagger has 1200. So if you do it perfectly, you can cover 3000 range for a Glimpse. It's
Can I make a prediction?
most heroes travel the distance in like 6 or 7 seconds in this.
I know how much you like predictions, so I want you to.
Oh,
Looks like Ush.
oh, that's a good disruption.
Good disruption after the demonic purge, but the surge is still applied. That is, the duration's insane. A nice zoning kinetic field going to get, in all likelihood, most people out. The double edge is used for full effect, and the soul assumption just a little bit of damage on top of that. And it seems
Stampede.
That, okay, Stampede is used. Not going to find
Take
anybody,
that,
though.
trees. And Whitebeard. Oh,
Yeah,
the arrow's
they're
going to
gonna
find him out.
have
Yeah, you did.
Whitebeard's he puts down the static storm. That's going to cause Visage's death after Ush just jumps in and beats his face to oblivion. Justin uses Moonlight Shadow, though. And I don't know if they have any vision. Oh, looks like a gem was just picked up by Ike's Mike as I say that. So beautifully done. Nice hoof stomp. Do they have enough damage to actually take out Ush? His teammates are coming. Mjolnir's
that blade mail
applied.
doing
Boom
work.
goes the arrow. And this is Sna's cue to get out of dodge. Sna, the hero, the player. God damn it. I hate you all. Sna. Alright, so now that the action has just dissipated completely, the Shiva's picked up by the Darkseer. I want to make a prediction. And
Okay.
I want you to remember this one.
Okay.
So by TI4, I feel like Disruptor's going to be first ban, first pick. He's getting there.
I disagree, but he is, I think, going to be picked or banned more than 50%, perhaps.
Okay.
I still think that's kind of it's kind of a bold statement saying he'll be first phase pick, but
So
he is still an incredible hero. I would totally agree.
I mean, I feel like every game that has a disruptor and they win, he's the MVP. It's like almost every single time.
Very often. But it's also the type of hero where if you get used to playing against it or you build a lineup around not getting... You know, it kind of sounds hard not building a lineup around not getting caught by Glimpse, but you can definitely improve your chances by setting up a lineup in a sense that you want to team fight. You don't split push, for example, where Glimpse is absolutely amazing. But I still agree. I think this hero is undervalued, even now that it's getting picked a lot. But yeah, saying first pick might be a little stretch here, I think. Well, we'll see what eHug are up to. We're gonna have a leap from Mirana, giving them a bit of move speed. Arrow gonna be scouting out here. Absolutely nothing in that area.
Well,
what do you do now if you're eHug?
That's the real question. Yeah. They have to. I mean, obviously, Sna's gonna be waiting for the next Aegis in all likelihood. You need to contest it. If you give up the Aegis and cheese, it's gonna be GG. And here comes the smoke from Sna, the team. As we're looking at the golden XP graph, just getting out of control. They're not going to find anybody initially, but if they pursue into the Radiant Jungle, they could very well find the juicy Centaur sitting on the cliff waiting for them.
Yeah, he is kind of as close as you get to some good steak in Dota 2, I think. So juicy. I imagine Centaur has.
Have you had horse before?
Pretty juicy beef. Actually, no. I haven't. I imagine it tastes like chicken, which everything else does.
Tough.
Apparently.
I don't know if it's juicy, actually, come to think of it, but he is half human, so maybe that comes into account there as well. Mjolnir on Mirana. I'm not even sure to mention that. No comment.
Oh, really?
Oh, Moonlight Shadow.
All right, here we go.
Oh, they're actually going to find...
Ooh, IX Mike.
There's the disruption.
Right, prediction, he's dying.
Soul Catcher does so much. This is the most awkward, like, insta-kill, you know? It's like, it's a definite kill.
Insta.
Well, not insta, okay. It's the most guaranteed kill ever, but very awkward to say the least. Shadow Demon looking like he's going to go towards a 4-staff, unless that's somehow going to be an Aghanim Scepter, which would be hilarious and good. Aghanim is pretty good on him. With 3 melee, it's pretty good.
On which hero, sorry?
Shadow
Demon, yeah, that would be...
But I mean, 4-staff
really
is pretty much just 100% necessary.
Yeah, there's a couple of concerns that eHug has right now, and I think the main one is don't get clustered up into a vacuum. That's... No item build from Shadow Demon is going to protect them from that. That's just wise positioning and wise movements and making the right calls.
Well, obviously, you always pick up a 4-staff against Ursa.
Yeah, it is really good against Ursa, no doubt about it, but I still feel like their biggest opponent right now is Darkseer, and the way they handle that is by spreading out, making good flank attacks. Perhaps if they can somehow get in on the Darkseer before the fight starts, or have the familiars on him so he can't blink. Like, there are many ways of doing it, but Sna's farm is just so absolutely huge, and so is Ush's, that any sort of subpar fight from eHug just immediately results in a loss. They have to do it correctly, and not only do they have to play their abilities well, they have to prevent themselves from getting caught by Sna, who are, to be honest...
Oh, peace. Get peace.
In a really good position. Yeah, okay.
Less than a minute to go for Roshan to spawn, and that is going to be perhaps the game if Sna's able to secure it. And that's really what we're going to be waiting for. So, what does Ursa get next? He has Heart, Mjolnir, Vlad's, Boots of Travel, Blink. I'm pretty sure he gives up none of these items, even if it goes into the extreme. Like, well, actually, that's not true. Vlad's would get replaced at some point, but I still feel Satanic. I mean, maybe he even goes a BKB, even though it's not that great.
I think Daedalus is really good here, too.
Daedalus?
Just,
okay.
like, kill people. When you have a 3k health pool, the Daedalus starts really hurting, and it hasn't really been a problem for him that he's been dying lately. It was only that he had that one death where it was a little bit of an overextension. We're going to see Pandego. Oh, quick disruption here. Stampede used as well.
But it's used defensively, so the question is, are they going to continue to pursue this? Half HP, Kasich, and a nice stun on SNA, the player. But the static storm vacuum and wall combination is out of control. Cakes, you're probably going to go down to the right clicks of Ush, and he does just that. So it's 2 dead right off the bat in favor of Sna. Of course, there's no Aegis on Ursa, so keep that in mind. Roshan should be up any second now, as they're going to continue to pursue. They're finding Justin on the cliff. He leaps up and finds himself in a precarious
position. This Darkseer, this game, man, it's been good. He's been pretty damn good, and that was a 5-man back wall. I think he just landed there. That was
Blink on Viper.
Absolutely insane. I can kind of see where he's coming from with that, because, as I mentioned, it is about positioning, and that's pretty much everything for them. So maybe he's hoping that he can blink in behind the fight, find the Darkseer, and just lock him down a bit, prevent him from blinking, perhaps, or do whatever he can to just stay mobile around the fight and not get caught. But it's, yeah. With that Roche in the bag, I think it's high ground time for SNA. They can go very aggressive. The cheese is on the Ursa. They gave the Aegis to the Darkseer, so he can play super aggressively as well. He can choose to open a fight by basically committing his own hero into there. They have to respond on him. If they don't stun him up, they know they're getting a vacuum into Shivas and the optional wall if he has that off cooldown. So they need to respond on him. If they use cooldowns on him, that means Ush gets to move.
He's very confident, Ush is. He has the cheese. He doesn't have the Aegis. He has no BKB. He can technically get locked down to some degree. There's the disruption to start things off. He's going to pound into himself. Stop hitting yourself, stop hitting yourself. But still a 30-17 advantage for SNA, SNA, whatever you want to call them. Do you think, and this is just a random question because I love tangents, you know me. Do you think Blink Dagger is going to get nerfed? I mean, I'm not saying before TI, just in general. Because if you think about it, it seems like more heroes than not are actually picking up Blink Daggers these days. And I think it makes it more exciting, so I don't necessarily dislike it. I mean, if you look at, like, this is a terrible example, but LOL, so I'm told, you get, like, a flash ability or something like that. But you have to, you get it automatically, right? Because the game's awesome and everything. But in this game, you have to buy it every game. You have to invest $21.50. I mean, maybe they nerfed the price of it.
I feel like it's a very hard comparison to make in general, but...
Well, I feel like, no, that's the argument some people make, though.
The good thing about having the Blink Dagger is that it's generally considered an exciting item to watch and play with.
Because it's aggressive, it's not defensive.
We love aggression, we love action, and of course it also makes for big defensive plays where you suddenly get out with a huge blink, so... As long as the item isn't incredibly broken, which I think the mana cost didn't change, it just made it more popular, I'm okay with it. If we see a nerf, I don't think it's going to be in the mana cost, to be honest.
Soul Catcher, blink out for Ush. And actually, the disruption on Wisp here, you're seeing... Oh, the Halberd's actually applied to Ush. He's going to get destroyed. Cheese goes down. Does he have a buyback is the question. Yes, he does. Wisp is dead, though. He's not going to be able to relocate. But there comes the buyback from him, so expect to relocate with Ush in hand. But even so, even without them in the fight, it doesn't even seem like eHug's winning this at all. But here comes Ush, right-clicking. Ay. Fluff and Stuff actually might die a second time, and he will do so. Shadow Beam will fall as well, though. So it's a 2-for-1 exchange. SNA on the aggression.
If they get Ush here as well, this is huge!
Big blade.
Oh, he gets the cheese off.
The cheese is finally off. Aegis is going to be popped by Darkseer. If SNA can actually team wipe here without the buybacks, they can actually take this Rax. And Viper's dead. Mirana soon to fall. Actually, she's very low, but on the run. Thanks to the nice shot of the vacuum on the invisible heroes. Don't think they had any detection unless... Who has the... I think it's Alex Mike that has the gem.
Oh, and a glimpse as well. Well, what do you know? Whitebeard hits a glimpse.
This should be Rax. I want to look at the buyback to see if anybody has it for eHug. Okay, we have one on Mirana. She's going to use it along with the Shadow Demon.
All things considered, I think that was actually pretty damn good for eHug.
They got rid of the Aegis. They got rid of the cheese.
Yeah. If they can find a pick-off before the next fight and they get the Ursa, who is really right now paying when he gets caught out, they have pretty decent lockdown and they have very high damage.
I think he goes BKB now. I mean, even though there's not that much. I mean, obviously some things still go through it, but just for the disruption, the Soul Catcher asleep, feel like you need the BKB.
We might be reaching the point now when it's going to be good, actually, just to give him that extra safety in the fight.
Plus, at this stage of the game, having a 10-second BKB, that's not a common thing to have either.
No,
so keep
that's
that in
true.
mind.
It's
and
really
Refresher
valuable,
now on Darkseer, did he have that for the last fight? Okay,
the Refresher? No, he just got it.
Okay.
Just got the Refresher.
Good luck, have fun.
Yeah, big items coming in for SNA here. I think this is, if eHug does not get a kill on the Ursa before he has the next buyback, they've lost the game. I think this is the time when you try to find out Ush, you try to get that kill so you can get some sort of collateral, because else the next Roshan will easily go to SNA. They will have the buyback ready on both Io and Ursa again, and, well, he has a 10-second BKB like you said, so with an Aegis on him as well, or a cheese, it's just going to be too easy, I think. So right now, it looks like that is exactly what eHug are going to try to do. They've smoked up 4 heroes, and Justin is kind of leading the charge here.
He's bait. Obvious bait right here.
Yeah, this is pretty obvious. I don't think SNA is going to fall for this one.
But they're greedy. You know Ike's, Mike. You know Ursa. Ursa's like... He's like the little kid that needs to get to the cookie jar. He just can't quite reach it. But, of course, with Wisp's help, anything's possible, Syndra. Just remember that in life. It's true as well. Boots of Travel picked up by Darkseer. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
If you ever need help in life, just find a ball of energy to help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. We have a pause by Whitebeard. So, looking at the current stage of the game, obviously SNA's in has a sizable lead. It's just all up to whether they're going to make major mistakes or not.
Yeah. This is, I think this is it. Like, there's going to be a team fight now. eHug wins it. They get a lane of Rax, maybe 2. eHug loses it, they lose the game. That's I think we're reaching that point where they did a really good job top, but the discrepancy in gold is really huge, so they can't really wait any
No
longer.
buybacks in the game at all. How often do you see that?
Yeah, wow. No
That's
one can
pretty
buy
crazy.
back. There we go. They made a fake back here, and they're going to use the Moonlight Shadow. Mike is spotted out, so they know where he is, and he's the one with the gem.
This could be the final fight.
It really could.
Ursa picks up the basher, so definitely doesn't have buyback now. This actually could be huge for eHug if they're able to catch somebody out. But of course, the BKB for Ursa is gonna.
This is
I don't
such a
know how they're gonna
tense
counter
moment.
that.
Is Ush really going to go up here?
You sound really excited about it. I
Oh
hope so.
god, they might actually.
Soul Catcher onto IX Mike. Arrow's gonna whiff.
That was
Viper
really
Strike
poorly
onto
timed.
Darkseer, and I think you're not gonna get your wish this time, Cinderin. You're gonna have to wait just a little bit longer for that cookie.
Yeah, when is Roche up? There's, well, they still have some time, but I just feel like if you're eHug, you don't go back now. You try another sneaky engage somehow. If they have another smoke, the Moonlight Shadow is up in 45 seconds, so they should definitely be using that aggressively again to try to find an opening. Here we go. Surge comes in from SNA.
Oh boy. Oh boy! IX Mike's gonna become visible again as Vendetta's off cooldown another 10 seconds. They're not gonna find anybody. Of course, they have all the outer tier 2 or tier 3 or tier 2 towers. And I'm really interested to see Darkseer with this refresher. I mean, look at all the activatables he has. I wonder what he's gonna use.
Like
obviously, Mech using it twice in a row is not really gonna do anything.
Darkseer Tinker Edition. 6 active slots.
That's true.
And he could refresh all of them, so if he really wants to show off, he can cast 11 times.
Does he have the mana capacity for that? 1885.
Yeah, sure does.
I mean, Blink Dagger takes a lot of mana these days.
And
so.
it actually could turn out to be crucial that he can BKB
Oh
twice.
wow, that's a really okay. I kind of like this, to be honest. It's risky generally speaking, but when you're behind, you need to take the risk in order to.
This is one of the most cost-effective items right now. I like this call from Justin, especially since in these last fights he doesn't seem to be the primary target of SNA. So if he gets to have a little bit of space and get some attacks off with that Mask of Madness, a couple of crucial Mjolnir procs can make the difference.
But then again, you're talking about an Ursa that has a BKB now, 10-second BKB, mind you.
If his BKB is off, he's just not going to die. The question is if they can catch him off guard with a Blink Stomp or something like that and just burst him.
That's another thing to keep in mind. Despite, I mean,
down.
with a 10-second BKB, the cooldown's also longer. So I doubt we see that come into effect. But I'm actually interested. I'm kind of shocked that Mirana has very little farm in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah,
you know,
he does have 10 deaths.
This is a glass cannon build, even though there's a drum of endurance. But other than that, this is glass cannon. To the T.
Yeah, that's actually the only item he has that gives stats apart from Ring of Aquila. So you're absolutely right. He is. I'm wondering where eHug takes it from here. If they're actually confident that if they just wait out long enough and split push and farm, that they can take the game. And like I said, in theory, if this goes super late and they get a lot of farm, that is going to be the case. But I just don't think SNA is going to let them with the next stages. So. The breaking point of the game is in about 2.5 minutes on this Roche right now.
We said that last time.
Did we?
The last Roche, I thought that was going to be the last fight, but generally we're pretty wrong overall, so not sure why we're
especially
casting.
me in this tournament for some reason.
It's okay. People know you're smart. Shadow Demon is still working on his 4-staff Disruptor. Yes! Has the point booster, but still a ways away, about 2k from finishing the
I just
Ags.
get so excited when I see a point booster. It's like, from a spectator point of view, that's just one of the items you just want to cheer for.
That is a good point. I feel like I overly feel that way. You know, I get
It's like
it's like an exaggerated feeling that isn't. It's not always it's not always warranted.
There was an LD moment. He picks up a point booster.
Wow!
Another
minute and a half to go for Roshan, so we can continue to talk about absolutely nothing until then, which is this is meant to be the case with the Roshan timer being random.
Are you excited for dinner? Like,
well, it's been out there for the past hour, so
Is it good?
I think it's tacos tonight.
Okay,
yeah.
I can live with that.
What's the day today?
Oh boy, don't ask me that.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, one of those.
Okay, so it's taco whatever day it is. So.
Okay.
Is
Taco
it Taco
Tuesday?
Tuesday?
It's Tuesday. Thank you, gods.
Peace.
Australians know their
Beautiful.
days. That's good.
Days of the week by Australians. Excellent.
So,
Another minute. Well, they're going to
see.
smoke before the Roche. Of course, they don't exactly know when Roche is going to spawn, but...
Oh, look at Viper. Oh man, now he stopped. Come on. Okay.
Was he canceling his
Gods
Viper
actually
strike?
thought I was just... I wasn't joking.
You
he was
cried wolf
actually...
so many times, cakes initiated upon. Stampede. IX Mike.
Oh,
Okay, interesting.
whoa.
Coordination. Huge wall into the vacuum. Oh my goodness. BKB's popped by SNA though, and he's going to use
Refresher
his refresher.
used.
He's going to do it again. He's kind of going to do it again as Viper has the BKB, but Ushi's going to apply all his
eHug,
pressure
this is
to
your
him.
last
That's two
call
dead
to get the
for eHug.
fuck out.
Marana on the run. Marana on the run. Centaur getting caught out again, and this, not including buybacks, might be the GG.
Glimpse. Yeah.
How many times have you said glimpse? I feel like it's a lot, but this is going to be a team
Full
wipe. But there's the
team wipe.
buyback from Marana, who has very little farm and is very squishy. Centaur buys back as well.
If they actually just need, they shouldn't have bought back. They should just sacrifice this lane. There's no way these two heroes combined can hold it. So just threw the gold out the window. In 30 seconds, they have their full lineup up again. They will lose 2 lanes of Rax right now, pretty much no matter what. They're actually going to try for this. Are you serious?
Hey, if you play Centaur, you got to go balls deep, man, every single time. Stampede is up. He's not able to get it off as of yet. He's the last survivor, and the GG's come out because you can't go that balls deep on Centaur.
Yeah. Wow,
So eHug
they
loses
actually
to
did
SNA.
get 2 kills there. It's kind of surprising.
This was a really good game. It just came down to, in a lot of cases, the execution. I felt like eHug had everything they needed to
Yeah,
take this
they
game.
really did.
The picks were great. The counters were great.
They really did.
The execution just wasn't quite there.
Yeah. And we're going to see, look at this. I mean, the Darkseer ends the game on 13-1-26. He's been in 39 out of 42 kills. That is absolutely insane kill attendance. 36 on Ush as well. And, I mean, 20 assists on Disruptor. How many of those were glimpses?
So I'm going to say co-MVP Darkseer and
17.
and Disruptor.
Yeah, they did an absolutely amazing job together. That was... And especially for SNA in this game, I mean, that with the start they had, it was looking like that could be a pretty one-sided affair, to be honest.
Yeah.
The other way, they kept their cool. They got their 1-2 good team fights that their lineup was really built around, and then it made it count.
I feel like if they weren't dire, this game might have been different.
That's true.
Because
it could have been.
the Roche advantage is pretty substantial with when you have somebody like Ursa that can just pound it in like 5 seconds. So.
That's fair.
But
And
eHug have to
every fight
expect
came
that.
down to Roche towards the end of the game. I
Yeah.
guess you could say that about almost any game that goes past 40 minutes, but
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like they just SNA, and I just love watching Ash. He just seems to be a player that's like thriving on like all of this like exposure. He's a player that nobody really knew coming into it, but all of a sudden like he's doing work. Whitebeard, who a lot of flack was given towards him, and then you just like you put him on that hero, and all of a sudden he just goes to work. So I don't know. It's a big victory, but I think I think they deserved it. They earned it, and it was pretty close for the most part too, I'd say. So.
You wonder, though, if eHug felt just like a little down after everything turned out. Maybe that, played an effect in their gameplay at all. I mean, I don't know how much of their heart was actually into that one. Maybe they're feeling exhausted. I know Justin had put up a post that he was very tired and wish he could have just gone to bed. So who knows if that could have played a factor as
where does he live? He needs to go to bed right now. I thought they're all in New
Maybe
York.
he got up early.
USDC, yeah,
Maybe he didn't have a good
yeah.
breakfast. I don't know.
I mean, like, I guess playing Dota games might be tiring for them. Who knows? I don't know.
I mean, you're mentally into it. You're stressing
Yeah,
out. It could
like-
be a lot. Your emotions are going up and down every game.
Yeah,
it could
obviously
be a
not
little
sponsored by
mentally
Monster then.
exhausting.
no, yeah, they
very
don't have
evident.
that Monster Energy drink to help them out,
Exactly.
unfortunately. So.
Okay, so I have one question for you guys.
Okay.
If I told you in the next games, just first phase ban Disruptor against Whitebeard, do you think that's a good way of dealing with Nyx right now?
I'd say it's reasonable. I'd do it for sure. I think.
Who would you let through? Let's say you ban the Disruptor, so you let through like either Lycan, Invoker, or something like that. Like, do Sneaky Nyx Assassins, do they even play those heroes?
Even if they do, you can find ways to deal with them. I mean, people have been playing against these heroes for like months now. People know how to deal with these heroes, like even from 6.80, and it's just like you want to start like dealing with heroes that teams are doing really, really well with. And I guess Ben and I talked about that with Demon and picking Coddle. It's kind of the same kind of argument. You might not ban it first or second, but you can ban it later on down the road. So, I mean, it's like you have to think about banning that hero, especially because like it's one of the only ones that he really is like that good with. So, I mean, at least it just seems likely. So,
I agree with that as well. I think Disruptor is definitely a playmaker, and if you're in the right hands, it can definitely change any fight. So a respect ban could be worthy.
I mean, not taking anything away from the rest of the team, because obviously the performance from everyone in this game was really, really good from Nyx, but I'm just seeing that as a pattern in every game they've had. It just seems like you said, when they have Disruptor, when Disruptor wins the game, it always seems like he's kind of the MVP, right? So if you're going into this, now we know Nyx has a one-game win. They will be playing against Union in the next game.
yes.
If you're coming into this as Union, I feel like if you ban out Disruptor and you let Darkseer through, you just What's Whitebeard going to grab? He's been playing Disruptor in like almost every game. He played Witch Doctor like once or twice.
Yeah.
I
He's
saw.
played
I
Shadow
think.
Demon too. I believe.
Shadow Demon as
Yeah,
well.
like I mean, his
He
Witch
does
Doctor's
not have
pretty
the same
solid.
impact as he does in that hero.
No, I don't know. He's had some really good Witch Doctor games though, man. Like I've seen him like just put in work. Like he got like a 25-minute Aghanims or something on that hero, and he's done really well. So that's the thing. I mean, I still think Disruptor's too strong to let through for them, and I'm surprised it hasn't been picked more for more teams. I think so.
Yeah, in the right lineup, I think it works good. But I'm just echoing what you said before. I think it's definitely respect ban. I think some of those heroes that are banned time and time again, by now we kind of know what to expect from those heroes, and you should be prepared to counter them and just adapt around it. So, I mean, we'll see if Union Gaming are doing the research, they're watching, if they want to really hit them hard in the draft. I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are going to move into that next game. It is going to be Sneaky Nick's Assassins versus Union Gaming, and then after that it should be, I believe, Union Gaming versus God, why can't I think eHugs?
There aren't that many possible combinations.
I know. I just was watching this team. What's going on? But yeah, so
You can just call them Jigglebilly. That
yeah,
makes it
Team
easier.
Jigglebilly. Yeah.
Team Jiggles. Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I mean, solid teams with these last couple of games, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the next game here, especially with Union coming in after that pretty exciting win against Liquid. So I guess we'll take a quick break, guys, and we'll jump back into that next one in just a second. Stick around, everybody.